Have you ever wondered why, among all the people in the world, that dog chose you? Why your eyes met at the shelter, on the street, or why they were born into your home? It was no coincidence. According to Carl Jung's psychological theories, there exists a profound, almost mystical connection between humans and dogs that transcends simple domestication. What is your dog trying to awaken within you? What spiritual message do they carry? Jungian wisdom reveals that dogs are more than companions. They are spiritual guides with a specific mission in our lives, a gateway to the collective unconscious that few understand. In the next few minutes, you'll discover the surprising truth Jung perceived about this ancestral connection and how this understanding can completely transform your relationship with your best friend. When you look into your dog's eyes, have you ever felt they see something in you that others don't? This isn't just your imagination. The profound connection between humans and dogs runs deeper than mere companionship. It touches the realm of what Jung called the shadow, those aspects of ourselves we often hide or fail to recognize. Jung believed that animals, particularly those we form strong bonds with, often reflect parts of our unconscious mind. Dogs, having evolved alongside humans for thousands of years, have become particularly attuned to this role. They don't just see us, they see through us. Through their unconditional presence, they hold up a mirror to aspects of our personality we might otherwise never acknowledge. Think about what draws you to your specific dog. Was it their playfulness, their loyalty, their need for protection? Jung would suggest this attraction wasn't random, but guided by your psyche seeking wholeness. Your dog embodies qualities your conscious mind needs for balance. The concept of projection is key here. Jung taught that we often project unconscious aspects of ourselves onto others, including our animal companions. That irritation you feel when your dog is overly needy might reflect your own unacknowledged need for connection. The admiration you feel for their courage might speak to courage you've yet to claim in yourself. Notice how your dog responds differently to various people. They seem to know who needs gentleness and who needs enthusiasm. Dogs tap into emotional undercurrents that humans often ignore. In Jungian terms, they access the emotional layer of the collective unconscious, the shared psychological foundation all humans inherit. This mirroring serves a greater purpose. By reflecting our hidden traits, dogs help us become more whole. Jung emphasized the importance of integrating all aspects of ourselves, both light and shadow, into our conscious awareness. He called this process individuation, becoming the complete, authentic person we're meant to be. The way you interact with your dog offers clues about your own emotional patterns. Do you struggle to set boundaries? Or perhaps you're overly rigid with rules? Your relationship with your dog reveals your approach to relationships in general. By observing these patterns, you gain insights that might otherwise take years of self-reflection to discover. Dogs also mirror our authentic emotions rather than our social masks. Jung distinguished between the persona, the face we show the world, and our true self. Dogs respond to our genuine emotional state, not our pretenses. They know when we're truly sad beneath a smile or anxious beneath a calm exterior. This honest feedback helps us reconnect with emotional truths we might be denying. Through their mirroring, dogs remind us of our connection to nature, something Jung believed modern humans desperately need. He wrote extensively about the psychological dangers of becoming too removed from our natural instincts. Dogs, with their unfiltered expressions of joy, hunger, play, and rest, reconnect us with these basic rhythms of existence. By accepting and loving our dogs completely, quirks, instincts, and all, we learn to extend the same compassion toward the wilder aspects of ourselves. The unconditional love we give and receive from dogs helps heal the fragmentation Jung saw as the root of much psychological suffering. Next time you're with your dog, pay attention to what qualities they bring out in you. What emotions surface? What aspects of yourself become more accessible? Your dog isn't just a companion, but a guide helping you recognize and integrate disowned parts of yourself. This mirrors what Jung called the transcendent function, the psyche's natural movement toward wholeness and healing. Throughout human history, dogs have stood watch at the boundaries between worlds. From Anubis in ancient Egypt to Cerberus in Greek mythology, canines have been associated with guarding the threshold between the seen and unseen realms. This isn't merely cultural imagination, but speaks to a psychological truth Jung recognized about the role dogs play in our psychic lives. Jung studied symbols across cultures and discovered recurring patterns he called archetypes, universal templates that appear in myths, dreams, and art worldwide. The guardian dog represents one such archetype, a protective force that stands between our conscious awareness and the mysterious depths of the unconscious. When your dog alerts you to unseen visitors or seems to sense things beyond human perception, they're fulfilling this ancient role. Jung didn't attribute supernatural powers to animals, but he did acknowledge their heightened sensory awareness and instinctual intelligence. Dogs operate primarily through what Jung would call participation mystique, a more direct, unfiltered engagement with the world than our thought-dominated perception allows. This guardianship extends beyond physical protection. Dogs often sense emotional threats before we do. Have you noticed your dog becoming protective when certain people enter your space? Or how they offer comfort precisely when your emotions begin to darken? They guard not just your physical safety, but your psychological boundaries as well. Jung viewed the threshold between conscious and unconscious awareness as sacred territory requiring protection. Too rapid an influx of unconscious material can overwhelm the ego. Dogs help us navigate this boundary, pulling us back from excessive rationality while also keeping us from being swept away by unconscious forces. They stand with one paw in each world, the instinctual and the domesticated, the wild and the civilized. By the way, if you're curious to go even deeper and integrate your shadows and light, check out the Sim Method ebook. It's a concise guide that can help you unlock your inner power in just 5 minutes a day. The link is in the first pinned comment below. The protective function of dogs serves our spiritual development in several ways. First, they create a safe container for emotional expression. In their presence, we often feel free to express feelings we might otherwise suppress. Jung emphasized the importance of emotional honesty in psychological growth. By accepting our emotions without judgment, dogs create what Jung might call a temenos, a protected space for inner work. Second, they alert us to psychological dangers. Just as they warn of physical threats, dogs often react to unhealthy situations or relationships before our conscious mind catches up. Jung described intuition as knowledge that arrives without conscious reasoning. Our dogs' reactions often serve as external manifestations of our own intuitive knowledge that something isn't right. Third, dogs help maintain healthy boundaries. Jung believed that psychological health requires appropriate separation between self and others. Dogs model this beautifully, showing affection while maintaining their distinct needs and nature. They teach us that true connection doesn't require losing ourselves in another. In dreams, Jung found that dogs often appear at moments of psychological transition. They stand at the gateway to new understanding, sometimes blocking the way until we're ready, other times guiding us forward. Your real-life dog plays a similar role, helping you navigate life transitions with greater awareness. Consider how your dog responds when you're about to make an important decision or take a significant risk. Their reaction might offer insights your rational mind hasn't yet processed. Jung valued such synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that suggest a deeper pattern at work in our lives. By honoring your dog's protective instincts, you acknowledge the guardian archetype within yourself, your own capacity to protect what's precious without becoming rigid or fearful. This balance between openness and protection forms a cornerstone of psychological maturity in Jungian psychology. The relationship between humans and dogs stretches back at least 15,000 years, making it one of the oldest interspecies partnerships on Earth. Jung recognized that such enduring connections take root not just in our personal lives, but in what he termed the collective unconscious, that shared psychological foundation that contains the accumulated experiences of our ancestors. This ancient bond carries wisdom that transcends individual experience. Archaeological evidence shows dogs and humans co-evolving, each species influencing the development of the other. We didn't simply domesticate dogs, they also domesticated us. Jung would view this mutual transformation as symbolic of the integration process that happens in the human psyche, different aspects of ourselves influencing and reshaping each other toward greater wholeness. The depth of this bond appears in dreams across cultures. Jung collected thousands of dreams throughout his career and noted how frequently dogs appeared as significant symbols. Their presence in dreams often signaled a connection to instinctual wisdom that modern consciousness had forgotten. When your dog appears in your dreams, they may be bringing messages from this deeper layer of awareness. Jung observed that powerful archetypes often emerge through our relationships with animals. The loyal companion, the fierce protector, the playful spirit. Dogs embody these universal patterns that resonate across human experience. These aren't just roles we assign to dogs, but living expressions of psychological energies that have guided human development throughout history. Consider how innately we understand canine body language despite our different species. This natural attunement suggests what Jung might call a psychoid connection, a relationship that bridges physical and psychological realms. Studies show that humans and dogs developed the ability to produce and respond to oxytocin, the bonding hormone, when interacting with each other. Our connection exists at a biological level that predates conscious thought. The wolf ancestors of dogs were once both competitors and teachers to human hunters. Jung believed that the transformation of competitor to companion represented a profound psychological integration, the enemy becoming ally. This parallels the inner work Jung prescribed, where we learn to embrace rather than reject challenging aspects of ourselves. Myths across cultures reflect the special status of dogs. From Native American traditions where dogs guide souls to the afterlife, to Norse mythology, where Garm guards the gates of hell, to Hindu traditions where dogs accompany Yama, god of death, these stories aren't merely coincidental. Jung would see them as expressions of a universal understanding about dogs' capacity to move between worlds of consciousness and unconsciousness, life and death, known and unknown. The transformation of wolves into dogs parallels human psychological development. Both involve the integration of wildness and order, instinct and consciousness. Dogs maintain their wolf instincts while adapting to human society, modeling the balance Jung encouraged in human development. He believed psychological health required honoring our instinctual nature while developing consciousness. Ancient burial sites reveal humans and dogs interred together as far back as 14,000 years ago. Jung would interpret these burial practices as evidence that the human-dog bond transcended utility to touch the spiritual dimension of human experience. The continued presence of dogs in modern funeral practices, therapy dogs comforting mourners, loyal dogs attending their human services, speaks to their enduring role in our emotional processing. This ancestral bond explains why interactions with dogs often feel more natural than human social connections. With dogs, we engage in what Jung might call authentic relationship, one free from the complex projections and expectations that complicate human interactions. This authenticity offers a healing counter to the psychological alienation Jung observed in modern society. By acknowledging the depth of our ancestral connection with dogs, we tap into a wisdom that transcends our individual lifetimes. Jung believed that reconnecting with such primordial patterns could restore psychological balance in an increasingly fragmented world. Your bond with your dog isn't just a personal preference, but participation in one of humanity's most enduring and meaningful relationships. Dogs communicate constantly, but rarely with words. Their messages arrive through behavior, energy, and presence, much like the language of the unconscious mind itself. Jung dedicated his life to understanding this symbolic communication from the deeper layers of the psyche. Your dog may be delivering similar messages, speaking directly to aspects of yourself that your conscious mind overlooks. The timing of your dog's interventions often carries significance. Jung coined the term synchronicity for meaningful coincidences that seem to respond directly to our psychological state. Notice when your dog interrupts your thoughts, brings you a toy, or demands attention. These moments frequently coincide with mental patterns that benefit from interruption, excessive worry, self-criticism, or disconnection from the present moment. Dogs demonstrate what Jung would call psychological wholeness through their natural integration of opposing qualities. They show fierce protection and gentle nurturing, playful abandon and focused attention, independence and devotion. By observing these balanced opposites in action, we receive guidance about our own potential for psychological integration. The way dogs inhabit the present moment offers profound teaching. Jung recognized that modern humans often suffer from disconnection from immediate experience, lost in regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. Your dog pulls you back to now with each walk, meal, and play session. This present moment awareness resembles the mindfulness practices Jung studied in Eastern traditions. Through their needs and boundaries, dogs teach reciprocity in relationship. Jung emphasized that healthy connection requires both giving and receiving, assertion and yielding. Dogs clearly communicate their limits and needs without apology or excessive accommodation, modeling what Jung might call psychological sovereignty alongside deep connection. The natural rhythm of a dog's day, periods of activity balanced with rest, reflects what Jung called the cycling of psychic energy. He observed that psychological well-being requires honoring these natural cycles rather than maintaining constant productivity. Your dog's insistence on play and rest serves as a living reminder of these essential rhythms your body and psyche crave. Dogs demonstrate acceptance of the shadow, those aspects of experience humans often reject. They don't judge natural functions, emotional displays, or physical limitations. Jung believed that psychological health required similar acceptance of our complete humanity. When your dog shows no shame about bodily functions or emotional needs, they model integration of aspects many humans have been conditioned to reject. The way dogs approach suffering offers another profound lesson. They experience pain, loss, and limitation without the additional layer of narrative and meaning-making that often intensifies human suffering. Jung distinguished between unavoidable pain and optional suffering created by resistance and interpretation. Dogs demonstrate how to meet difficulty directly without elaboration, a central teaching in Jung's approach to psychological healing. Your dog's ability to forgive and reset relationships provides a powerful example of what Jung called psychological flexibility. They don't harbor resentments or compile evidence of past wrongs. This capacity to begin fresh in each moment parallels the psychological renewal Jung believed possible when we release rigid patterns of thought and feeling. Perhaps most importantly, dogs teach unconditional positive regard. accepting the essence of who you are beneath all outer appearances and achievements. Jung recognized this quality as essential for psychological growth. Your dog doesn't care about your resume, bank account, or social status. They respond to your authentic presence, encouraging you to value this core self above all social masks. Through their extraordinary sensory awareness, dogs remind us of perceptual capacities we've largely forgotten. Jung believed modern humans had sacrificed sensory intelligence for conceptual thinking. Your dog's ability to detect subtle changes in scent, sound, and energy demonstrates alternative ways of knowing that complement intellectual understanding, helping restore the balance between sensing and thinking Jung saw as essential to psychological health. By paying careful attention to what your dog consistently brings to your attention, you may discover they're highlighting precisely the qualities, experiences, or rhythms your conscious mind tends to overlook or devalue. This guidance isn't random, but speaks directly to your individual path of development, what Jung called the journey toward becoming your complete self. Jung developed the concept of synchronicity to describe meaningful coincidences that cannot be explained by cause and effect, but suggest a deeper pattern at work. The arrival of a specific dog in your life often demonstrates this principle perfectly. Think about when your dog entered your life. What was happening then? What were you learning or struggling with? The timing rarely feels random when examined closely. Jung observed that significant life transitions often attract synchronistic events. Dogs frequently appear during major shifts, after losses, before beginnings, during periods of transformation. Their arrival isn't causally connected to these changes, but meaningfully aligned with them, as if responding to an unspoken need in your psychological landscape. The particular traits of your dog often correspond with qualities needed in your life at that moment. This doesn't happen through conscious selection alone. Jung would point to the unconscious factors guiding such choices. Perhaps you chose a high-energy dog just before discovering a passion for outdoor activities, or a gentle, patient dog arrived as you began working with children. These alignments reflect what Jung called a causal connections, patterns of meaning rather than cause-effect relationships. Jung noted that animals often appear as guides during periods when rational thinking reaches its limits. Dogs frequently enter lives during times of grief, uncertainty, or major transition, precisely when logical planning falls short. They bring a different kind of intelligence that complements rational thought with instinctual knowing. Their timing suggests a response to your need for balance between thinking and feeling, planning and presence. The circumstances of meeting your dog often carry symbolic significance. Jung believed that meaningful events speak through symbolism rather than literal messages. Were you actively searching, or did your dog find you unexpectedly? Did you overcome obstacles to bring them home, or did the process unfold with surprising ease? These circumstances often mirror broader patterns in how you connect with important relationships or opportunities. Sometimes dogs arrive during periods of isolation or disconnection from others. Jung recognized the healing potential in relationships that bridge human and natural worlds. When human connections become complicated or painful, the simpler bond with a dog can restore trust in relationship itself. This timing serves the psyche's natural movement toward wholeness and healing connection. The age of the dog who finds you often corresponds with psychological needs. A puppy might arrive when you're learning to nurture, a senior dog when you're confronting mortality, a rescued dog when you're processing your own wounds and resilience. Jung would view these alignments as expressions of the self-regulating nature of the psyche, drawing exactly the experiences needed for growth. Physical characteristics sometimes carry surprising significance. Jung documented how external events often symbolically reflect internal realities. The dog with unusual markings that match your childhood drawing. The breed you'd never considered that becomes your perfect companion. The color or pattern that holds personal meaning. These coincidences suggest a deeper pattern connecting inner and outer experience. Life challenges preceding your dog's arrival frequently create the precise opening needed for their presence. Jung observed that psychological growth often requires a breakdown of existing patterns. The loss that left room in your home, the illness that slowed your pace, the career change that altered your schedule, these apparent setbacks often create the necessary conditions for this new relationship to flourish. The timing of a dog's arrival sometimes coincides with the need to develop specific psychological qualities. Jung emphasized that personal growth requires developing underdeveloped aspects of our nature. Dogs often arrive when you need to learn patience, assert boundaries, express playfulness, or practice unconditional love. Their presence creates daily opportunities to strengthen precisely these capacities. Even reluctant dog owners frequently discover that the timing of their dog's appearance aligned perfectly with an unrecognized need. Jung noted that the unconscious often perceives necessities the conscious mind resists. The dog your partner or child brought home, despite your objections, may activate growth you didn't know you needed, but later recognize as transformative. By reflecting on the timing and circumstances of your dog's arrival, you may discover layers of meaning that weren't initially apparent. Jung encouraged this kind of retrospective meaning-making as a way to recognize the intelligent patterns operating beyond conscious control. Your dog's appearance at precisely this moment in your life speaks to a wisdom that transcends coincidence, a synchronistic reflection of your unique developmental journey. Jung devoted his career to understanding the process of individuation, the journey toward becoming the complete, authentic individual we're meant to be. This path involves integrating conscious and unconscious aspects of ourselves into a cohesive whole. Your dog serves as both companion and guide on this journey, illuminating the way toward psychological completeness in several key ways. The unconditional acceptance dogs offer creates what Jung called a secure base for exploration of the self. In their presence, we feel safe enough to examine aspects of ourselves we might otherwise avoid. Jung believed that such acceptance was prerequisite for inner work. Your dog's non-judgmental witnessing provides exactly the emotional safety needed to face shadow elements and integrate disowned parts of yourself. Dogs draw us into ritual and routine, morning walks, feeding times, evening cuddles. Jung recognized the psychological importance of ritual for connecting conscious awareness with deeper layers of meaning. Through these simple daily practices with your dog, you engage in what Jung might call active participation in the symbolic life, regular actions that carry deeper significance than their practical function. The physical dimension of relating to dogs helps counter what Jung saw as excessive mental abstraction in modern life. He believed psychological health required embodied experience alongside intellectual understanding. Walking, playing, and touching your dog brings you into your body and physical senses. This grounding counters the one-sided mental focus Jung observed in contemporary Western psychology. Dogs show remarkable attunement to emotional authenticity. They respond to what you actually feel rather than what you pretend to feel. Jung emphasized the importance of emotional honesty in the individuation process. Your dog's reactions provide ongoing feedback about your emotional truth, helping you distinguish between authentic feelings and social performances, a crucial skill for becoming your genuine self. The responsibility of caring for another being develops what Jung called the parental archetype, the capacity to nurture and protect. Even people who never raise children activate these qualities through dog guardianship. Jung viewed the development of these archetypal energies as essential steps in psychological maturation. Your dog's dependence calls forth these capacities, expanding your psychological repertoire. Dogs require us to communicate beyond words. Jung believed that over-reliance on verbal communication limited psychological development. Learning to understand your dog's non-verbal cues develops intuitive capacities Jung considered essential for connecting with unconscious wisdom. This expanded communication creates bridges between conscious and unconscious awareness, central to the individuation journey. The joyful play dogs inspire accesses what Jung might call the divine child archetype. That spontaneous, creative energy, often suppressed in adulthood. He saw reconnection with this playful essence as crucial for psychological wholeness. Your dog's invitation to play activates this vital energy, balancing seriousness with light-hearted engagement, restoring wholeness through joy. Dogs connect us to the natural world from which Jung believed modern humans had become dangerously disconnected. He saw this separation as a root cause of psychological suffering. Through daily contact with your dog's natural rhythms and instincts, you re-establish this essential connection. Walking outdoors together, observing natural behaviors, and participating in seasonal changes with your dog restores this vital relationship with the more-than-human world. The mortality of dogs confronts us with the full cycle of life Jung believed modern culture too often denies. He observed that meaningful engagement with beginning, growth, decline, and ending was essential for psychological maturity. Through loving a dog across their lifespan, you practice the complete emotional range needed for full engagement with life. Attachment, delight, concern, grief, and letting go. Dogs model integration of opposing qualities Jung identified as central to individuation. They display both strength and vulnerability, independence and connection, playfulness and focus. By observing these balanced opposites in action, you receive a living demonstration of the psychological integration Jung prescribed for human development. Perhaps most profoundly, dogs embody what Jung called the self, that organizing center of the psyche that contains both conscious and unconscious elements in dynamic balance. Their unself-conscious authenticity, natural wisdom, and integrated presence models the state of wholeness toward which the individuation process moves. By daily contact with this living example, you absorb not just intellectual understanding, but felt experience of the journey's destination. The path your dog opens before you leads not away from yourself, but toward your deepest authenticity. Through their guidance, you discover not just who you are now, but who you might become when all aspects of your nature find expression and integration. This journey toward wholeness, what Jung called individuation, may be the greatest gift your dog offers, a living reminder of your capacity for psychological completeness and authentic presence in the world. The bond between human and dog transcends the physical realm, touching the very core of our spiritual existence. As we gaze into those eyes that have chosen us among billions, we glimpse something ancient and profound, a connection that Jung recognized as essential to our wholeness. Your dog arrived not by chance, but by cosmic design, carrying precisely the medicine your soul required. In their silent wisdom and boundless love, they guide you toward the person you were always meant to become. This is not merely companionship, but a sacred covenant, an invisible thread woven through the tapestry of existence, leading you home to yourself.